Yo, what is going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Movies. I have my usual guest, Varangian Vigilante, my favorite co-host. What is going on?
Hey, it's Friday. We're talking a cult classic.
Yes.
So what can be better? And we're having one of the most awesome dudes in the community with us here.
Yeah, guys, they wanted a third host, so
Yes.
they threw the chains in the swamp, they dragged the bottom, and they pulled me out. So here I am.
And Gary B, it's great to have you on. This is actually your first time on my channel. So
Yeah,
this is a treat right here. First time Gary B is on my channel.
I'm glad you got the check.
Hey, it's funny that Bronze Age Brian, yesterday you did the show, the 10-1-1, and you had my friend Bronze Age Brian on. And he had the Conan shirt. He had the Conan shirt. And he's like, yo, Gary must have paid him to wear that shirt.
You can appear on my channel, however.
Yes.
And I made sure that you got credit for him. I'm like, look, you're on here because Sean made the connection for me to you. I got other people I still got to connect to that Sean gave me. My schedule is so far out, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but those are the rules. You either wear.
Yeah,
but those are the rules. You either wear Conan short, or fell, or like a Fellschutz. What's it in English?
I didn't wear a Conan shirt, but I bought the Conan book.
You don't wear either wear Conan shirt or nothing. Just
right. Bronze Age oiled, right?
Yeah. The good at bronze, a good bronze 10, like a good Sumerian 10.
But yeah, great show last night. Make sure y'all sub up Gary B if y'all not, and check out his live streams. The 10-1-1 is an awesome show, and it was a great show last night. But today we are talking a cult classic. Hell Comes to Frogtown, starring Rowdy Piper
and Sandal Bergman.
Valeria, she was awesome in this. She looked so good with those glasses on. It's like,
oh yeah,
man.
And you forget too that Cecilia Vero in this movie is a complete smoke show too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of beautiful women in there. And we already talked Sandal Bergman, which of course is Valerian Conan Barbarian, but also Conan's father is in there, William Smith.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've talked about him a couple times, not only in just Conan, but in Fred Williamson movies.
Yeah, exactly. And the fun thing is about this movie is also that, of course, like our hero, Roddy Piper, aka like Max Hell?
Sam Hell.
Sam Hell. And as every good hero, he's basically in trouble for sexually assaulting a woman.
But wrongly accused.
Wrongly accused, but it was actually Ric Flair who did it.
Now, since we're talking about, I got to lead off with one of the best things about this movie. If you guys are watching it, this is a movie that knows exactly what it is, and it doesn't pretend to be anything but what it is.
Exactly. And for that, when I watched it for the first time, I was so surprised by how good the makeup is and the masks and everything.
Yeah, the rubber suits and all that.
Yeah, especially since the budget, I think, was just 1 million. It should have been like 3 million, but they cut it down. And then still for everything to look so well is
right. It's still, and even watching it, I watched it like less than an hour ago, and it still, I think, looks good and holds up pretty well.
Yeah, but at least Roddy Piper was not painted half human, half frog.
Right? The actual blood in it looks more fake than the costumes.
But yeah, like I was saying, Roddy Piper was the perfect choice for this movie, and again, it's like, when it comes to like wrestlers transitioning into acting, some of them have a natural personality, and Piper just has that personality. He's over the top in wrestling.
Right.
And then when he's on the movie screen, he has this charisma about himself that even with his raspy voice, like he still commands that attention whenever he's on screen.
I highly recommend watching like the audio commentary with him and John Carpenter from They Live.
Oh yeah,
it's so interesting to see
so
like, his insight, and also like talking about what is difference between wrestling and acting. But yeah, the thing that makes you over in wrestling also resonates very well to the screen. As we know, like there's a lot of wrestling stars that I wouldn't say become actors, but they become movie stars.
Yeah, because they're already natural performers.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to touch on the They Live for one more second, if you're going to bring up that commentary. Because one of the best things is you see the men behind the personas, especially in that commentary, and you see the good people that they actually are, like with Roddy and John Carpenter hiring homeless extras to make sure they had a place where they were sheltered and had hot food to eat during that entire shoot of that film. And when they're in that shanty town, those are all real homeless people that they were paying. A large portion of them were homeless people being employed by John Carpenter and Roddy Piper. And that was something I think, if you listen to the commentary, I'm trying to remember because it's been like a year and a half since I've listened to it. I think that was like Roddy Piper's idea.
Probably, hey, Kenneth. Yeah, and Piper, of course, like not always have been portrayed as the best human in the ring, and was very protective of his spot. Like he didn't even chop to Hogan, which is like one of the few people who like did not chop to Hogan.
And he hated Mr. T when he got involved.
Yeah. That's probably also like the reason why he never got the title shot. It's always so crazy when you see what wrestlers hold world titles, and then hey, Rowdy Piper actually never held the world title. No. But when he liked somebody, when he saw talent, like he put Bret Hart over in a fantastic match, and as we know, like that he was actually like a good human being, and also very versatile as an actor. A fantastic leading man. And then when you watch him in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as the maniac, like he is like his comedy is also on spot.
And in this movie that we're talking about, Hell Comes to Frogtown, he was great casting for it because you needed a hero that you wanted to root for, but the hero that wasn't necessarily the best human being out there, but also the hero that had swagger to him, and he's got all that in spades.
Yeah, basically for this movie you needed a sympathetic scumbag and
a scumbag that is 100% Frodo.
Yeah.
So, and he really, this movie without
what you can appreciate about this movie too is there actually is it flunks. You need his persona in this movie.
Yeah.
But what I liked about this movie too, though, is even though it's like a B movie, there was actually they did nice little scenes of exposition with him, that gave you clues into his character.
Yeah.
And why he is the way he is.
Yeah. Also, when they went to Frogtown and he met like the old guy who met before, so there was some good exposition there. But without him, I don't think this movie would have the cult status that it would be still an awesome B movie, but just his sheer presence elevates the whole flick.
It does.
Yeah. And it's a testament to how great he is, and to put this character or put this actor in a B movie and just let him be himself.
Yeah.
Let him deliver the dialogue the way he can deliver it, and put on a little bomb on his nutsack and say that you're gonna have that the entire movie, and that's gonna be your whole thing.
That atomic diaper he was forced to wear.
Yeah, the only problem I had with this movie is that Sandra Bergman didn't have nudity in her contract.
Right.
Which is weird because basically we see her like naked in Conan. Like very shortly, the boob.
In Xanadu too, right?
Exactly, and of course in She.
Yes, definitely.
Like in a freaking Italian like B movie, you see naked, but Hell Comes to Frogtown. I'm not getting undressed for that.
Man, it's like she in full seduction mode. I know how,
she was strange.
Are you gonna get complete buck naked? Because you got me seduced right there.
Yeah.
She didn't, but Cecilia Vero did, and as soon as she did, I mean, it commanded the screen.
Yep. I love her, you know, as this like badass soldier, but yet still has feminine qualities about her.
Yeah,
like,
give me a badass female warrior with a fucking heavy machine gun.
Oh yeah,
I'm all in.
And she could pull off that slick back hair look too.
Yeah.
Like she was hot in that movie.
Yeah, in general, this movie was very well cast. You know, like I said, also like William Smith as
William Smith.
as basically like a side villain. Count Sodom. And Count Sodom is like a name that is basically. I think that's like a name and like villain's like persona that is a little bit wasted as a like under villain in this movie. Like that deserves actually like its own movie.
And I like and then and you don't get right into Frogtown. Well, first of all, let's talk about the opening now. The opening is great with just the two characters, and then you get the ribbit, and then as soon as you get the ribbit, you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
But even then, even that opening was kind of shot well. It may not have had the best actors, but it's effective. It leads you right into the movie, and it gives you a setting.
Yeah.
And it gives you the nicknames for the frog people. You know, the greenies, the greeners,
Greeners, mutants, or everything. That's why I like the quote, hey, try making love in a hostile mutant environment.
Oh, and when we get to the end of the movie, we'll talk about his the closing line, which was great.
Yeah, like I love the opening of the film, and you see the character Sam Hell immediately like in restraints, being tortured by the villain who we find out later in the movie is Count Sodom, but he's like being questioned for sexual assault, especially the character of you assaulted my daughter, you sexually assaulted her and got pregnant, and then the lady come in like, he's left a trail of pregnant woman behind, so he is further out as hell. We need him,
right?
We need him.
Now, if they made that scene today, it would start out with a da 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 da. It's the one and only, and he'd be like snickering in the seat. But it's great too because it sets up like he's a player right from the start, right?
Yeah.
But and that the daughter, she wasn't sexually assaulted by him, but she didn't like that he moved on and left her behind, and then just have it reversed. And I like that they do this whole you got the highest spermatozoic count out there and set him up, but even though he has all this baller status going for him, he's still intimidated by having to have sex with a woman he doesn't want to have sex with, or having to repopulate the nation with a group of women where he's like, dude, it's just one woman's good. I mean, I'm a guy. I don't need any more than one to worry about. I don't want no part of it.
Yes. Soldier's job is never done.
I love that closing line. When he looks back.
I always felt that Brian K. Vaughan got his inspiration of Y the Last Man from this movie.
Probably.
Because to think about it, you're the only strong, fertile man in this post-apocalyptic world, and all these women are like coming at you like, we need this, we need that. You can repopulate the world. So it's like, this one man is being hunted, or the woman that comes to him. So
he's currency.
Yeah, he's 100% valuable.
Well, that's what I like when the nurse, she's like, "Oh, that's a U.S. government property now."
Yeah, but we all know he's getting punished in the end because in the sequel he's played by Robert Zeda.
and sneakily in a sly style, this is actually a fallen in love story between him and the Sandal Bergman character.
Yeah.
Even though she's totally okay with him performing all his duties on other women.
Well, it's a job, like
right? And then she's gonna vacation with him after.
It's for it's like I always have to say what I'm doing is like for the good of mankind.
For the good. And like
for the greater good. For the greater good.
There's a reason why y'all value me so much. Then
Right.
I have to, do what I got to do, and she's the main event. She's the WrestleMania.
Now, in this movie too, I thought the set pieces were really good.
Yeah,
Like the Frogtown, I thought looked amazing.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about post-apocalyptic movies, because when you find the right environments, and since the economy is fucked everywhere since all time, you always find like some nice industrial ruins where you can shoot in. Yeah, that's the big perk of post-apocalyptic movies, and this one just it excels at it. Like, hey, shout. Like, even like for a B movie, I think everything looks fantastic.
Well, yeah, and it was like a double. But like, I thought the seedy underworld Frogtown bar looked great. Like, that's what you expect in a post-apocalyptic.
And you got frog titties,
I mean, like, Bethesda got the setting for their Fallout games from this movie.
Yeah. Actually, they should have done sometimes like
you could see a Frogtown in a Bethesda Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, because it's been going in and out. That's why I was checking. I'm like,
yeah, no, you were both talking and nothing was coming across. I'm like, is it me or them?
It's a censorship, probably.
Right?
I said frog titties. Hey, Brussels Brian.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. You didn't get any amphibian nudity, even from the girl that was in the mask.
I love the scenes with her and Sam, because it's like she wanted a piece of Sam, because she already heard the legend of Sam Hell, so she's like
trying to give her a bag to cover her face.
I was like, hey, just be like Marlon Wayans in Scary Movie 2 and do the thing. Put a bag over her and do the teeth.
And that second time she rescues him, he goes, I owe you. And she goes to go after him and goes, not now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We got other shit to do right now.
That's the beauty of like movies from back in the day. The creativity they had making these movies. The story could be absurd, but it makes sense when you watch them. It's like this shit would not fly today.
Yeah,
but back then they have no care in the world. Cocaine.
And this is why this movie is still watched today, and most of the stuff that is released nowadays is not even watched today.
Right. And I like too that you kind of have like the rival mob set up in that little town, right?
Yeah.
One guy's like making a deal, and then the big guy comes in and vetoes everything and just takes her.
Just grab with the whip, takes her, and say, "Yeah, she belongs to us now."
And all I can think of is when you're watching Roddy in this is how much fun he had to have during that camping scene. You know, he's got all three of those hot ass women there. And at some point in that scene, all three of them end up in his arms.
Like, let's just say he had worse paydays when he was like when he was like probably like in hotel rooms with sweaty guys and not with beautiful women.
Yeah, he's had tougher days on the job.
And like
probably not harder ones though.
But the year before this movie, he was in his final match against Adrian Adonis, adorable Adrian Adonis. Like, dude, who blonde wigs.
I'll take Sandor Bergman.
Yes. Yeah. Like my favorite scene though is when he's being like forced to have sex with the girl because she was one of the first rescue victims.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, she's ovulating right now. It's the perfect opportunity. And he's like,
no pressure.
Right.
Like really? Would you do this in hostile mutant environment? And then she's like, well, I have seduction techniques. So she starts stripping down, and Sam is looking like, what the hell, man?
Right. Well, I thought that was good acting by her because she's a trained dancer, so she had to make it look awkward, like she didn't know how to move. And then he's like, but even when he started making love to that girl, having sex with her, he was looking at her.
Yeah.
Take off the glasses and all right, there we go. He was all set.
It's like, yeah, I'll do this, but I still got my eye on you because you seduced me. That's how we took it.
Yeah, and it was funny too, right? Because they're talking about sexual assault, and she's basically forcing him to just rape this girl in front of her.
Yeah, she pretty much like intoxicated due to the drug that he put in her.
Yeah, when the government says it's different.
Right now, and now this movie would not be made today.
No, it wouldn't.
And today's climate would be worse for not having this movie. This movie. I watched it again, like I said, an hour ago, and because I was prepping, and I watched it again last month. But every time you watch it, this movie is still 100% enjoyable, beginning to end.
Yeah, I can tell you can release this movie on DVD or Blu-ray next week, and it sells more than all of Marvel's modern comics within a week.
They're cult classics for a reason, right? They're so good. And you hear so many failed movies, and from back in the day, like say John Carpenter's The Thing, even, which was horrible at the box office.
Yeah.
You hear more people talk about John Carpenter's The Thing than you hear about E.T., which was the big hit at the time.
Yeah. And in general, and also, the thing is nowadays they push like a message like so blatantly in there. This movie also has a message. It also deals with racism against mutant frogs, and it's not. I mean, it's not joking. It's not even subtle.
No, it does, but it's just funny. Mutant frogs.
Yeah, because basically every word they have for a frog sounds pretty much racist. Yeah, sounds racist. Yeah. So basically, this also. When you look at a lot of B movies. Most B movies, like in Italy and the US, have actually been directed by very progressive people. That this was the counterculture against the conservatism back in the days, and nowadays, like the progressive people say, like no.
And to your point earlier too, like it wasn't rape if the government was telling him to do it.
Exactly. I mean, when the government says it's okay.
Let's be honest, they got him shackled up, with the device, when he trying to escape, and she just used her earring, and it just started.
And let's talk about that though. With the earrings, like one of the I thought best shot scenes was when she was in that bed. And they had her.
Oh yeah.
Made with whatever was making her hot. And the earring kept getting hit, and he's getting tortured. But like she was looking hot in that bed, and that whole scene that whole scene was set up nice.
Yeah.
But then you saw like the scene just prior to that, you actually saw the classical dance training in her, where she was like doing the awkward thing, and then it was time to turn it on. It went from awkward to all of a sudden she's got smooth lines and she's gliding. And you could see, that hey, she's actually a real dancer.
And this is something what I really appreciated. What John Milius did, with his casting in Conan, that he didn't want to have like people that are first actors. He wanted to have people that have like skills, like in dancing or like surfing or like bodybuilding, like with Arnold, because because these things are translating better to movies than the other ones. Like I said, he can't take an actor and teach them how to dance, but he can take a dancer and teach them how to act.
And even when you're talking about Conan and the casting of Sandal Bergman, you see all those training pics of her with the sword, her and army training. But but these are people that already had a set discipline, that knew how to apply themselves to these roles.
Exactly. And dancing,
like this movie, like feels like a cross between like fantasy adventure and a John Carpenter film, because it has like a lot of that stuff mashed up into one.
It does. It truly does.
Yeah, kind of like the. Hey Brad, how you doing?
We have to talk She in the future.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's another wild one. That's a wild movie.
Because it's so fantastic. First of all, I love the source material by Haggard, and then this interpretation of a post-apocalyptic in a setting with Sandra Bergman as she and Gordon Mitchell as the villain, which was fantastic. And yeah, we have to talk this one in the future too.
You can always put Sandra Bergman either blonde or brunette, but her legs always give her away.
She got them legs.
Yeah, Sandra Bergman's got them legs.
Yeah,
and those cheekbones.
Yeah, these like dancers have the best bodies.
And it's funny because you can see that in her performance that she's trained so long as a dancer that she has that dancer body, and when she has this fluid motion, it just comes perfect to her.
Yeah, it comes natural.
It comes natural, and like the whole scene, it was wonderful to watch. But then you see the big mutant frog, the snakes.
The three snakes.
The three snakes are aroused.
And then she had that pretty line. You want to see some new steps?
You know what?
Three snakes swim pits to the ground.
Let's just say the three snakes are aroused. Make it form with me watching.
So good, but that whole thing was great because nothing when they got into Frogtown, nothing was going according to plan. Immediately, she's taken by a different person, and then he's got to try.
Hold on, Gary. You said nothing was going according to plan, but she always said, "See, it went according to plan."
She did, but she was trying to make herself look good to him.
She always did that.
Yeah, see, according to the government, everything goes according to plan.
and the whole earrings thing with his chastity shock belt. That was kind of like a MacGuffin at the beginning. Like, okay, that's funny, but then it actually played. They were smart. And it actually plays into the plot and how he's able to track her down and rescue her.
Yeah.
With the beeping, and I did feel bad when the frog lady died.
Yeah, that was a bit sad.
Like she deserved her hookup with Roddy before she died.
Yeah, exactly. She did like
her dying and then Looney Tunes dying.
Yeah.
It's just and also I wonder if it works with frog mutants. It's like also to delay X and you have to chiss on the X. I like to when Cecilia Vero came out at the end with the gun too. You can eat dirt or eat lead.
Yes.
And it just hit the sand.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
Oh, dude, she was like you see,
I felt like she needed more screen time.
She did need more screen time.
She was a little bit like the warrior woman in the Road Warrior. Yeah. Which also got way too little screen time. Yeah.
Oh. No, she was great because I thought she was stealing the scene she was in too.
Mm-hmm. It's tough because when she got what's her name and Roddy Piper, it's like, man, she's kind of outshining them. I can see why they gave her less screen time because it's about those two.
Right. Well, as I say, this was like a really clandestine love story between those two because they hated each other at the beginning, and slowly they learn to respect each other, and then they care about each other by the end.
Man, another great scene is when they get to Frogtown and they got to go into the bar, and she has to be disguised as a slave. Yeah. And Sam was like, "Oh well, now you get to be my slave. So how does it feel now to be chained up, huh?"
But the great thing about that scene is you can see he was actually being rough with her. Like they just played the match. Like when he grabbed her, it was just like this. Like there's no way. That's just her getting yanked by Roddy Piper.
I swear, Roddy Piper must have been also in bull rope matches. He pretty much enjoyed this one.
Hey, he had the dog collar match with Greg the Hammer Valentine, so that was easy for him.
Yeah, I also would prefer to have Sandra Bergman on a dog collar.
and I think Sandal's tough. I bet in those scenes Sandal's like, "Look, don't worry about it. Go for it. You're not gonna hurt me. I can do this."
And she held her own in the film. Whenever she was a damsel in distress.
Like when she took out those two guards, and he's like, "Why am I here?"
Yeah. I mean, it's Valeria for all sakes, man.
If Sandra Bergman would ever be like at a con in Europe, I totally think that would be a reason to go there.
Yeah.
And how about that sword toss at the end?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
That was shot so well. Like, I'm a pacifist. We're all about to die.
Like, damn it, you gonna be a pacifist and die? No.
Yeah. But like, that was so good because she's like, and it was just instant. Like that was a smooth cut.
Yeah. I mean, also as Sodom, I would be worried, like with a rocket launcher to firing that close.
Oh, and that was even funny too. It was a dud when he went to blow up Big Tony.
Yeah. Hey, like this dude carrying the dud rocket launcher the whole time.
Right.
I know. As a character, you be pissed. Like, yeah, I got this big ass box, and then you hit the thing, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with this?
And then he pulls the gun out, and he's an absolutely horrible shot. Like the bullets are hitting everything but this big fat frog ass dude. Oh.
Yeah, actually, it would be fun, Bronze Age, to like see Sandra Bergman at the con, and then you pull down your pants, and you have like this device. And then you can say, don't worry, there's a lid.
Well, you can. Oh man, what do you have her sign? Right? Do you have her sign Valeria or Frogtown? Or
yes, both.
From Valeria.
Yeah. Sorry, I only got the one snake. I'm not a mutant.
As we know, like it turns out better with the snakes in Hell Comes to Frogtown than in Conan.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's such good stuff. And yeah, like you guys said, the costumes are really good, but the acting wasn't really terrible in this at all.
Yeah, for what it is, it's
there was a few bad lines, but overall the acting was pretty decent in this.
I'll take a few bad lines because
it's better than a whole bunch of bad lines.
Yeah, and everything was entertaining. This movie also had like an ideal length. Very well paced. It's like every scene is entertaining, and this is one of these movies that you want to enjoy, not dissect.
That's the thing. Like, you watch a movie and you're going through it, and you're like, man, this is pretty entertaining. It's keeping me engaged. I love the characters, and you're never bored.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you watch a movie like when me and VV talked the Billy D. Williams film. And I'm sitting there like, the dialogue is terrible. The story is crap. They fucking killed Billy D. Williams in the stupidest way possible. And I'm like, fuck this movie, man. And me and BB, I think we talk about it combined 20-something minutes of that movie. And then we just moved on to something else.
Because if not even Williams can turn can turn a movie interesting and nobody can. Hey, Steve.
Well, and that's it with this movie too. I mean, we talked about it. This is a movie that comes on screen. It tells you exactly what it is. It sets up exactly, and it doesn't try to be anything different. But within its confines, there's actually a decent movie here, and there's actually character development throughout this film. Yeah. And there's exposition which fills out his character about about having to live through the war, lost his daughter, lost his wife. So you're learning a little bit, but they don't hit you over the head with it. It's just in there subtly as him and the Sandal Bergman character are getting to know and respect each other.
Yeah. And to me, like, that's the best way to like do stories like this. You have two characters that are completely opposite at the beginning, but the more they work together, the more respect is gained.
Right. There wasn't this instant, oh my gosh, we need to be together. Those two were at each other throughout the whole movie, and it was hilarious too. It was fun watching them just go after each other.
Yeah, and
especially when he took off at the beginning when he thought she was stupid, and you see him running.
And then he stopped stuttering. Like, dude, what the hell?
And I think he set a record for how long a guy holds his junk in the movie, because his hand was on his junk for half this movie.
Well, I mean, when you got a device just irritating on your junk, man, it's like.
And see, She lied to me the whole time, and then he saw she didn't when it blows up in the frog dude's face.
That's another one. The frog dude chainsawed that thing off him. And it's like, first of all, that's a man's worst nightmare when somebody comes with a chainsaw.
Right.
They're like, yo, that. But he got it off her, and he's like, oh, she lied to me. And the frog man's like, yeah, yo, this shit deattached. I was able to get it off. What now? And then it blows up right in his face.
And when Roddy was screaming, "You're one strange human." So many good scenes, but and Looney Tunes, he got to go out in the best way. He didn't die in Frogtown. He died like in the arms of all these harem of women.
Yeah, you can't go out better than that.
Yeah, like you said, he had like a long life and a pretty good end.
I hope Heavens is pretty.
Sam said something to say that dude's like 80 years old when I was young. I was like, well, God damn, how long you
right?
been living?
And then that, I was thinking after you perform your duties, we maybe take a little vacation. Soldier's work is never done.
Never done.
Yeah, it's a great one-liner, and that's what you need Roddy in there for. You need someone that can deliver those one-liners and have them hit the way they're supposed to hit.
And when you got somebody like him, who's charismatic and over the top, like he can deliver it just like that. With
smooth,
no problems. Yeah.
Just rolls right off him.
I don't want to imagine Hulk Hogan delivering that line. He'll probably throw a brother in at the end.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan's movies are highly entertaining, but I think Piper is the better actor, like the more natural actor. And we really have to do like next year something like a Rowdy Piper month where we're gonna talk like a lot of his lesser known movies.
Like I said, like I saw this movie with him and Sonny Chiba, and I was like, and tiny listeners in it as well. So I was like, shit, I'm watching that.
And this is not a movie I probably would have ever seen if it wasn't for Roddy Piper being in it. So I think a lot of people saw this movie just because he was attached.
Yeah, Piper draws.
That's why I watched it initially. I'm like, oh, Roddy Piper's in it?
Yeah.
Let's give this B movie slop a look.
I watched a lot of Piper movies because of Piper. He did a movie with Don the Dragon Wilson. He did another movie with Billy Blanks. And it was like, that's a natural when it comes to being the screen presence.
Right.
And whenever he's on screen, he's entertaining. Like last week when we were talking Time Stalkers, we was like, man, we need more Terry Funk. But he only had that one small role. But even Terry Funk has a screen presence about himself that he's on screen is like he's a badass, but at the same time he could deliver his lines in a way.
Right. And it captures your attention, like as an audience you're drawn to it.
Yeah, so I was like, Piper just has that ability. Like, yeah, Hulk Hogan is entertaining. But a lot of his movies is like over the top cornball stuff.
Yeah.
And as much as I'm a John Carpenter fan, They Live doesn't have the same impact without Piper.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
He is part of the reason why that movie works as well as it does.
And it's funny because when a lot of people like to say like Roddy Piper was a substitute for Kurt Russell in They Live, but then when you watch it, like Piper was his own.
Right. No, Kurt Russell would as great an actor as Kurt Russell is, he just would have seemed like another version of McCready in that film.
Yeah. He would have been another version of that, whereas Piper just felt like his own. The fight scene with Keith David is iconic.
Right. They rehearsed that for 2 weeks in a backyard.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think Piper is more checked in the movie than he ever was in the ring.
Right.
And a
bleak ending too for that movie too. That is not a happy ending movie.
Even though it had a funny ending with the whole, girl on top.
Yeah, that was well. That's funny because I'm like, when that part happened, I'm like, well, that doesn't even fit. But whatever.
It doesn't
it's
fit.
Like, don't trust it. Don't trust it, bitch. She's evil, Lynn.
Right. Oh, but back then, dude, Meg Foster was one of the beauties.
Her eyes are incredible.
Even though I still get a kick out of Peter Weller punching her in Leviathan.
Yes. Leviathan is one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies.
It's a favorite up until they kill Ernie Hudson. Then it's like, fuck this movie.
That was so. That one is so uncalled for because it's literally in the end 3 people survive, and it's basically the black guy is still alive. You gotta do something against it. Like come on! It's Ernie Hudson.
I love Ernie Hudson.
And he was the most entertaining character of all of them.
Yeah,
he had the best lines.
He carried that fucking movie. He deserved to live.
And Amanda Pays looked amazing in that.
Yeah,
Was that or Deep Star 6 she was in? I get those two confused sometimes because they both because they came out at the same time. Sometimes I'll mix up. Even though I watch them regularly, I'll still mix them up.
At that point was like, hey, we can do aliens like in deep sea. Like
everybody was doing it in '89, bro. After the Abyss, everybody was doing underwater movies.
Well, after Aliens in the Abyss, all of a sudden everybody wanted to combine the two and just get those movies made.
Has anybody of you seen the recent movie Underwater?
Yes, I liked it a lot, and people.
I loved the movie.
It was great, and the monster at the end was incredible. Yeah, but it had good tension throughout, and Underwater was really good. People were hating it to hate it because they probably didn't like Kristen Stewart, so they wanted to say shit.
She was good in it. She was
really good in it. And an unexpected ending for her in that movie too.
Yeah,
that movie is really good.
Like, that movie.
And you care about her captain and like his story and Gemma Chan looks amazing in that, and she's good as the minor character, but you care about her relationship with the guy that's all of a sudden he's got the pressure sickness for what happened to him and stuff like that. But no, you're the only other person I know besides me that really liked that movie.
Yeah, like I own it when it came out. Yeah, I also Blu-ray bought when it came out since it was not released in cinema. Despite it was the last Fox movie before Disney put their clutches on the
good creatures in that movie too.
Hey! With John in the chat, we gotta say, John, man, you struggling to try and get Storm as the number one base.
John, we all did the X-Men thing before the show. All of our first polls were Storm. Just kidding, buddy. No.
John, the last person who reads the X-Men.
Wait a minute, John, you never heard of this movie?
Wow. All right, who else lost? John.
I'm not surprised.
John, don't watch this kid with your girls.
Don't watch it with your girls. As a matter of fact, John, don't watch it. John. Don't watch it because you might just destroy it. You know, we don't know if this is in your taste.
Yeah. Daddy, you might have some explaining to do.
Exactly, like John, don't come into our world of filth.
Yeah, we represent the seedy underworld, John.
The seedy underworld, where frogs rule. And it's a franchise because they got sequels to this film.
Yeah,
Piper.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like the sequel
I've never watched any of the
character was played by Robert Z'Dar, which is, when I would recast Rowdy Piper, Robert Z'Dar would be not at the top of my list. I mean, the guy was a fantastic character actor. Not a leading man, though. Not a leading man.
Did you see how many sequels were there?
There was one official, and then they did a third one that they basically rebuilt as a Frogtown.
What were they any good? I've only ever seen this original one.
I haven't seen it in the full. I've just seen some clips on YouTube.
Okay, they must not be readily available because I've never.
No. You got Return to Frogtown, Max Health, Frog Warrior. That one is like a off-brand sequel.
Yeah, that one was basically.
Huh?
I think that was retcon, though, to be a sequel.
I will come down to the level, even if Storm is dead. Well, then we'll be having fun with Storm then.
Yeah. John is such a liar. If Storm was here, John would already be on screen somehow.
Yeah.
Hey, But like I say, I love John, but movie reviews by John is when you order movie reviews on wish.com.
Yeah, and while Dusty's in the audience too, I want to get a hold of Dusty to see if he wants to come on the 10-1-1.
Oh yeah, if you get Al on there and then get Matt, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we really have to do in the future. Like I always say, we have to do like a Godzilla special and have Al on it.
See, Gary knows me too well.
Full life, brother, full life.
Yeah, because I'll be A-OK and BB some WCW cards.
See, I'm a big Stamp Fairtex fan. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's a fighter. She's really good. She's a fighter now. She's got belts in MMA and kickboxing and Muay Thai. She's the first tri-belt winner. She is fierce, but like I looked up, I was trying to get a card of hers. Like I don't even think there's a card made of her yet, and she owns 3 titles.
Really?
Yeah, that's about. I think that the MMA and wrestling worlds are so different, despite a lot of companies thinking there's like a lot of similarity. But I don't think it anymore. I think like in the beginning of Lou Ferrigno is in the sequel. I think that in the beginning of MMA that there were more similarities because it was pure chaos. It was basically some people who are real fighters, other people think they're real fighters, beating each other. Right. It was a lot of fun. But meanwhile, like MMA became its own style, like its own fighting technique that works within the octagon. And I don't think this resonates to a wrestling ring. Like there's personally, I really don't like when the MMA fighters come into the wrestling world because 95% of them are just boring in the ring, like the kicks.
Oh yeah, because you have real fighting and you have performance fighting.
Exactly.
And anything wrestling is like a part of that. 80% of that's a performance.
Yes.
And you have to be physically fit, and you got to be able to perform your stunts, and you got to be careful that you're not hurting somebody in the long run. Yeah. Whereas if you're in MMA, you kick someone up the side of the head, they may not get back up.
So personally, like, there's a few people. I always say that a huge star coming like from MMA to wrestling is like, you can at least say it's like good for business. When Ronda Rousey, which very much fits. Which very much actually fits like the movie today because she basically was a rip off the Rowdy Piper character.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I totally got that because that was good for marketing. But like right now, like on NXT, there's Lola Wise who just won like the women's breakout tournament, and her matches are so fucking boring. Just like kicks and everything. It's just like.
Well, it's like when wrestlers try to come over to MMA and they can't cut it.
Yeah, there's also some exceptions, but also like the exceptions are like that people are trained like all Americans and they're trained like in
you see this
kind of wrestling.
Persian Papyrus favor. I don't know who Matt is. You guys got to introduce me to Matt.
Matt is the man.
Yeah, he's on the Comic Con crew with me, Al, and stuff. You seen him in the photos when on the Florida trip they had.
Dusty, if you could, sir, just message me on Instagram, and I'll hit you with some dates to come on the show. I don't know if we're gonna get these two clowns as guests. We'll have to do a special Saturday night show.
Yeah, it could be a Saturday where there's no Comic Con crew episode. That'd be perfect.
But if you guys got a specific Saturday in mind, you guys want to set that up and get a hold of me, and I'll set up the show.
Gary always looks for a reason that I have to stay up late on this.
Right?
But when you do stay up late, awesomeness happens.
Yeah. And probably basically at around 3 a.m. I'm forgetting if I'm talking German or English, so it's fun. It's fun.
It depends on how tired you are and how many cocktails you got in you at the time, right?
I don't even drink alcohol. I'm just like, I'm very easily tired. He's like, I have to get my caffeine. It's like almost 11 p.m. now here, so I'm old. I'm 40.
Now, Sean, when's the last time you watched this movie? This week for the review?
I watched it yesterday.
And
Yesterday.
you, Thorson?
And before that,
How about you today?
Okay.
Yeah, I had to get some sleep today, so because I work nights. But yeah, I
But
watched
also
it
like,
yesterday.
yeah. But also this week I got something else.
What's that? Oh yes.
Which-
Let's put you in the spotlight, man.
which is fun because very happy that these arrived.
I was worried when you told me where they were.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
man.
I was wondering because you sent me the tracking code and then I was like, hey, it's 2 weeks now. Usually, like there should be at least the customs, and then it's like I was tracking it, like via parcel app, and then suddenly it's like they're in fucking North Africa. What are they doing in North Africa? like from Morocco to Tunisia. Like the fuck.
Right, like how'd that happen?
Yeah. So these books traveled from the US to Africa and finally arrived in Europe.
They just wanted to be books of the world before they got to you.
like I said, basically it's like it's for us it's huge, for Conan it's just another week. But yeah, I'm very looking forward to this one, World Maker, which I think is a book that you really enjoyed like in your youth.
I still do. I'm reading it again right now, so I have 2 copies here. You got my 3rd copy. I like it so much. I have multiple copies of it in case anything ever happens to a copy. I still have a copy to read.
Yeah, I get that sentiment. I get that.
But and if you don't like it, don't feel bad. That's just a favorite book of mine. That kind of unlocked my imagination when I was a kid. It just sent me to another place.
Hey, Gary, just you'll never know if we liked it or not. We're just gonna appreciate that you sent it.
When was this released?
I think early 80s.
You know, everything released in the 80s can't be bad.
But I remember picking it up at a secondhand bookstore because I loved the cover. And then when I cracked it open and read it, it's a really odd read. And the world they set up isn't like any world you've read, and I just loved it. And it was concise, and it was one novel. You didn't have to buy into 17 different novels to know what's going on.
That's a plus. So then this is a book that I've never heard of, Corbin the Barbarian.
It's not great. I just thought it was a fun oddity for a barbarian collector.
Yeah, this is like an oddity. Actually, the cover is it's funny. So then this also like I didn't know Ravens and Rainbows, which sounds like gay pride in October. Like,
but it's not. That is full of just beautiful art.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Remember when rainbows were not gay, but like a sign of Asgard?
But
like
it's not the best title. But the art in that is amazing.
Yeah.
What Rainbows meant to me was reading Rainbow in the
There you
Varangian.
go. And the second Marvel run of John Carter. Signed.
I didn't know if you were a fan of that.
I'm a big fan of John Carter of Mars.
But I know, but there's certain series that are good for stuff.
I know. I haven't read those. So the second Marvel one so far.
And they were both. I think the 2 I sent you both were signed.
Yeah, the covers look great because also I think the covers are by Tedesco. Tedesco, who is like a fantastic artist. He also did a stunning Red Sonja cover, which was I think an exclusive, which I like because it looks like a Renaissance painting.
And I don't know if you care about the signatures, but they were there, so you got them.
Yeah. There's one signature I really care about. Like it's issue number 1 of Vampire the Bloodlust, but here is a Joe Chusco signature. That one is really nice because, of course, Joe Chusco, one of my favorite artists, one of the top I would say top 5, top 10 artists who ever worked on Conan. It's so tough to say because with top 5, because there's so many fantastic artists on Conan.
Like a guy that definitely lands in my top 5 for Conan, and it's based on Savage Sword covers, is Earl Norem.
Oh, Norem is
Earl Norem is probably always in my top 2. He's so good.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think he was capable of making a bad cover.
I have to look because I think there was one that was just good.
Right.
That's good. But yeah, talking about Savage Sword of Conan, Gary also sent me some nice Savage Sword. I think this is an enchant cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully I sent you the right ones that were in your collection.
Yes, those are still missing. So thank you very much for those. Then this is like, I'm a huge sucker for sacrificial covers, and of course Conan won't get himself sacrificed.
Right, you got the wrong guy in the sacrificial altar up there.
Yeah, it's like, dude is like, first of all, usually you sacrifice virgins. Conan is the opposite of a virgin. And here, also like, of course, going to so it's Pirate Days. Nice, beautiful cover.
Right, and that's a Jusco cover there, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it looks like Jusco. And last but not least, heads on sticks, creatures, Conan, like you can't.
I love
go
that
wrong
cover.
with it. Yeah,
I love that cover.
Absolutely stunning. So yeah, thank you very much for these awesome books, Gary.
Nothing got damaged?
Nothing got damaged. Everything arrived in one piece. It's like not even desert sand on it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took so long to get that one mailed out. And it took forever for it to get to you on top of it.
Yeah, when it arrives, it makes for a fantastic story. But until it arrives, you're like, what are these books doing in Africa?
Right. You sweating. He's like, yo, man, am I ever gonna get this package? That's the tricky things of shipping overseas. It's like
again, it wasn't.
It is. The last time I sent him okay, it got to you in like 6 days. It was like there instantly.
Yeah.
And this one's like, you know what? We're gonna take the scenic route. We haven't.
I really wonder how it got there. Like, did the post lady in Austria, Tunisia, like mix that up? Like, it's crazy.
She didn't like one of the movies you guys reviewed, so she sent it on an extra long voyage.
Probably she's a friend.
I heard what they said about that Billy D movie.
Yeah, she's a friend of Trump.
God, that movie was horrible. And that movie kicked off the year. I can't. What was it? Last year, or the year before? Start the year off talking about that movie, and we were so. I remember Intervention came on, and like, damn, I ain't never see you guys talk a bad movie. And like, yeah, we got suckered into that.
It was not a good year. It was not a good year.
Yeah, it was 2022. That's right.
Yeah,
because that was the same time we talked what was the movie with the people? Where it's at the shit. Charlton Heston.
I erased that year out of my head.
But yeah, we talked that movie afterwards. It was way better.
Yeah,
it was way better. But yeah, I'm gonna show some books. I picked this up at Tom's.
You gotta love the king sizes. Those are going up in price too, so it's good to get them now.
Yeah, and he had.
You used to be able to get those for $5 in perfect shape, and now they're like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I got mine. I got mine in Berlin. Oh yeah, first Hoffermann.
They had it for like $5.99. I was like,
that book. First of all, an amazing adaptation of the first Conan story, Phoenix on the Sword.
Phoenix on the Sword, yeah.
And it's just a beautiful comic, and besides that, it's also like the first true appearance of Hoffermann.
And this was from AOK from Matt.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, okay, me 3 Conan Savage Sword books.
Yeah, I always laugh with sorcerers in the background.
That's a good adaptation of the Andrew J. Offit novel.
This one I love this cover here.
Yeah, like I said the last time, is like boobs, snakes, boobs and scales. Like this fits the topic of today almost. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Then shout out to VV. He put me on to this series. Now whenever I see these books, I gotta grab them because VV got it in his monthly pull, and I had to help him get one issue that wasn't in his country.
Yeah.
It's Shudder.
Shudder magazine is so good, and also Vampirus Camilla, also a fantastic title. Like they really make the best like some would say homages. Warren would call it rip-offs because they actually, I think, had a lawsuit against them. But
Right, that's why they had to change it from the Creeps.
yeah.
But Shudder's just as good a name. And the vampires. And I like that the stories in there, even the ones that are new, feel like old stories.
Yes.
When I read the book that I picked up, the one with the skeleton warriors on it, I read it. I was like, man, this feels like Bronte's material right here.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like really tough. From the art you can see it, but sometimes it's really tough to figure out. Okay, what is the old one and what is the new one?
Then of course, I always wanted the famous Monsters magazine. Yeah. So, comics. Great books, man. I mean, you've seen the video of us at that storage unit. They're like, man, he has some great stuff. And then, of course,
magazines are just like,
Jim Kelly and Bruce Lee, the new Bruce Lee. I was like, yeah, I'm walking out with this.
This is something I can't even get into because otherwise it's like
this gorgeous beauty here.
Oh yeah, that's my space adventure. That's why we have to go to space and find new babes.
Space babes.
Space babes, yeah.
Of course, I gotta get the vampies.
Naturally.
And all of Tom's books are always in great condition. Like, I've never seen a bad looking book from Tom.
Oh, there's also like a legendary Vampirella cover. It's like one of I think also must be one of the 10 most iconic of the original run.
Also beautiful. Ooh, nice cover.
This is from the Spanish artist Gonzalez, or
his name is pretty faded there. But yeah, this is just a beautiful cover here.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Did you guys pick up the new facsimile edition of Vampirella #1, the mosaic cover?
No. I'm we have the original. Like,
well, I don't. I just had the facsimile of the original. So I picked up 2 facsimiles that had the original like reproduction of the prosthetic cover, and I picked up the mosaic.
Yeah, well. it's like.
Hey, okay, this is from G-Man, Living Color, Rock and Roll.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks for rubbing that in, Torsen.
Yeah, Sean and I, we don't pick up like the peasant editions of.
Well, you got a peasant on the show today, so that's what he gets.
You're not a peasant.
Nah,
this one I posted this last week with the
nice.
Alvin. This is the first issue of Alvin, and at first I was like, "Is this the real thing?" And I paid $5 for it. It's beat up, but it's still intact, and it's 12 center, 1962 or 64.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, and I love Alvin and the Chipmunks, of course. Yeah, I still got my AOK from BB. The German Chipmunks movie.
Oh man!
You know what I have to get you? You know what they're gonna release now in German?
What's that?
They're doing a Savage Dragon magazine.
Savage Dragon magazine? Really?
Magazine, yeah.
Wow. This is
AOK. There you go.
Old Man Spider, the second appearance of Juggernaut, and this pop art production. So
that is cool.
Shout out to him. We had him in the chat. He might still be here, might still be watching. But Brian gifted this to me. It was like a late birthday present. for the Greg Horn Red Sonja.
Oh wow, that's amazing. See, I love Greg Horn.
Yeah. 9.8 sticky
cover.
pages.
Looks like he really paid attention to that ass.
Oh yeah. Very cheeky.
Yeah, that's a great cover though.
Yeah, shout out to Brian, man, awesome guy. You know, that's the one thing I love about hanging out with him, Steve, and Jeff. It's just, you know, whenever somebody needs something or they're like, yo, he's picking up these books, sometimes I'll say, Brian, I got that, man. I'll cover your cost, man. And we do that all the time, you know. But it's always fun hanging out with those guys.
Now, I got I got 2 books after I want to show you two, gents. After you're done.
At Blackbird Comics and Coffee House, I love getting these horror comics from them. They had a bunch of them. Unexpected 213.
Oh, what a great werewolf cover. Look at that.
Yeah.
That one's fantastic.
Sweet colors.
And of course, I go there, like, that's my honey hole, Blackbird Comics and Coffee House, to pick up ghost books.
Oh.
Don't you wish they bring back that type of horror comic today? Like those?
I do. Like,
I mean,
it's such a hole in today's books.
Like, I feel like today's modern generation just don't have the appreciation for these type of horror comics.
I think every once in a while they put out like a mini series somewhere, like an Image, but it's
Or Evolve.
Yeah, but some are just like it's the flair is missing. You know what was what was it one that was released for a while ago, which was really cool because it like a raccoon in there, which was awesome. But I think in general, I don't think that modern audiences pick so much up on them because let's face it, the people who buy comics are getting less and less. First of all, with the $5 prices per comic, you don't venture out and experience so much like you did when they were like $2 or $3, because you know right now you pick up for comics and you pay like $20 for them.
You got a lot of nice skull covers today, Sean.
That's like Weird War and Ghosts has a lot of them skull covers.
But see though, and it's too bad. Like places like Netflix and Amazon Prime, they could take these books like Weird War and Ghost Manor and stuff like that and do good series with them.
Not with modern directors.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like they're gonna throw their modern politics and stuff in there, and it's gonna ruin it.
Yeah, it's like I rather have nothing than shite.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, Gary.
So just two. These are within the last couple months, but they're 2 books I don't. So I had to get this. My buddy Chuck Hensey showed it, and then I had to have it. So this is Barbarella, 1969.
Nice.
Now, what's cool about this is this is like the original Jean-Claude Forest ones, right? And the story is abrupt, but the art is gorgeous. And the only reason you know you're going from story to story is that the one extra color in the background changes, like you see here.
Yeah.
Like this story had like the goldish yellow, then it was the purple. But the art in this is terrific. And I had never, I was a fan of the old movie, but I had never really read where it came from.
Oh yeah, but French comics are something very great, very awesome. It's Barbarella is actually one of the few French comics that really transcends, probably because of the movie. But
but this was so good.
Yeah,
it was such a fun read.
There's so many fantastic French comic books out there, and every day there's like new graphic novels released there. So it's like really tough to really dive into everything. But the French, the one thing the French are good at is comic books.
Yeah, well, and it was fantastic. And the other thing I got, this thing is huge, and I got this for $10, and it was still wrapped in its plastic. This is Zagor.
Yeah, Zagor. Yeah, it's
Zagor. Okay.
Zagor. Yeah, it's
In the
they're also doing like
and this is a big boy.
Yeah, Sergio Bonelli, who is like the rights holder. They're also doing like now a 70-year anniversary box of Sargon.
And just the art, the black and white art is amazing.
Yeah, Sergio Bonelli is having like a lot of fantastic properties. First of all, Dampier, where I sent you the Robert E. Howard story from Dampier.
Yep.
Also, I just watched last week the first Dampier movie that came out recently. Fantastic vampire action movies. I really enjoyed that one. So I really am happy that Italian comics also getting like adapted in adult style movies. There's blood and gore in there. Like, I love Italians.
No, those horror books you sent me are some of the prizes of my collection.
Yeah.
Hey, who was the publisher to that hardcover?
This one was Epicenter. Epicenter Comics proudly presents a Sergio Bonelli editor production.
Yeah, I also and the crazy thing with Sergio Bonelli is they also have basically rented the Conan license. So in Italy there are coming out exclusive comics with Dragonero and Conan, like a crossover.
And the cool thing about these foreign comics is the storytelling is done very differently. Like a story will just end abruptly and flow into the next thing.
But that's a cool hardcover, man. At first I was like, is that a Dark Horse? Because I've seen Dark Horse hardcovers look that big, but that's a beauty right there.
Yeah, this is like you can.
I was kind of worried. I was kind of worried with you opening it up and showing it because I'm like, man, that spine getting damaged.
No, this spine is tough. It's not fragile like an American binding.
Like that is the 0 issue of the Conan Dragonero crossover.
Wow, I never even heard of that. That's gorgeous.
Well, I also got one for you, Gary.
What's Dragonero?
Dragonero is a fantasy franchise from Sergio Bonelli.
Oh, okay.
So they got the license to do like a crossover with Conan.
Is black and white inside?
This one is black and white. There's also an edition that is colored, but the big one is black and white art.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Now there's still all these people with the Conan properties are still pissing me off because they haven't put out the one thing I want. I want the comic strips.
Man,
I want the newspaper strips. I want a collected edition of all the whole newspaper strip run.
They came out in German, like I got the German editions. And I
just have that one
Spanish,
edition that Dark Horse
Spanish
put out, and it's not complete. It's just volume 1.
Yeah, like in German, I have like volume 1 and 2.
How many years did that strip run for, Torsten?
Good question.
Like,
No idea.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Steve. Yeah, Torsten and Sean have great books.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like I have one of these for you and the regular cover with the color inside.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You know, I'm gonna hug it and love it and keep it warm.
Yeah. I mean, it's still
Hey, all I know is we've been like pestering VV, like VV. If you come to Florida, especially with the Olympia,
the Olympus moving back to Vegas.
if they ever come back to Orlando, man,
yeah,
prime opportunity. But man, it's like we would love to just meet everybody in the community.
Yeah,
we're trying to like go off to Heroes Con next year. Like that's like the main goal. But I know with MegaCon, Sleepy Reed is coming, Unruly Simeon is coming, and a couple of others. And we're not even really going there to like spend money. We just want to hang out and
that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
the money spending comes by itself.
I mean, I say I'm not going to spend money, but I'm going to spend money regardless.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend too much because we want to experience Heroes Con, and that's the con that everybody plans to go to. But I'm just looking forward to hanging out with those gentlemen. You know, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm still trying to come down from the G-Man epic.
And while Steve White's in the audience too, Steve White got this from me from the expo they went to. This is signed by Jim Zub, and it says Gary Crum's Blood, Heart, and Soul.
Yeah.
Picture him signing it in the back. And then on the actual back of the book, he underlined the quote that they put on there of mine, and he put, "Wait a sec, I'm also a fan," which was really cool.
Yeah. And the third issue became good again. I was very disappointed by the second issue, but the third issue was really good.
And the story arc wraps up, and Ken Wheaton made this for me last week.
Yes.
Simpsonized Conan with blood on the sword.
Awesome, man.
And I have Comic Capsule, who
the only thing you read now is like Rainier Wolfcastle as Conan.
But so you haven't read issue 4 yet either, Torsten?
I'll get it next week.
Because I read it, I liked it, but I had one problem with it.
Yeah, I like I like Jim Zub as a writer. He loves Conan. My problem is he writes too much for the trade now.
Yeah, that's everybody too.
Like he doesn't write serialized. So
make the sequel, Sean.
Yeah, exactly. And I really love when the comics are serialized. You know, when every issue is like almost every issue is like a self-contained adventure with a subplot that spins over several issues. And this is like an art form that is lost in modern comics.
It is.
Number 4 doesn't wrap something up, which is what I had an issue with.
Ah, okay.
And so it doesn't wrap something up, and it leaves it wide open. It doesn't address it for the entire issue, and that's one of the things I wanted to address because I wanted to know what was going to happen with this thing. And it doesn't even mention it, and it left me wanting to know what happens.
And as we know, the only thing that should be left wide open in a Conan comic is a woman's vagina.
Right?
Gotta love it.
Well, you know, and that's the thing I love about what Jim's doing over there with Conan. Conan is every bit just the womanizer he's always supposed to be.
He's a little bit too heroic for me in some moments, especially like for young Conan. But I like it. I like Jim Zub as a writer. I think actually the most fantastic job he did on like in a Robert E. Howard property was like the Serpent War miniseries that he had at Marvel.
Yep, that was good. And I like that 12-issue run he had. I like that better than the Jason Aaron run.
That one started a little bit slow, but I really liked it because he had some long-term storytelling in it. So,
he did, and he had a quintessential Conan moment in that, which I loved. And you know how Conan's always a threat, and you can't treat him like he's not a threat. When that girl was near the cage and he was locked up, and then that tiger came, and Conan just found a way to destroy everything and survive.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I think like in Kitai.
Yeah, it was just so good.
Yeah. I think Jim Zub is a very good choice as a Conan writer to establish like the new run, like the Titan run, which is of course still we don't know. Do they acknowledge like what happened in Marvel comics, or basically do they just take the Robert E. Howard works as gospel and write around it? So that we will see, I think, how this develops.
Well, and he said that they were not going to adapt any of the Robert E. Howards because it's already been done too many times.
I think they work around it.
Which I agree, but he's going to write stories around those things.
Yeah.
The next arc is.
Yeah. But I meant he only takes the Robert E. Howard stories as canon, and he's not referencing like any of the prestige books by Lynn Carter or Sprague de Camp or like for example also
or
like
Steve Perry,
the
stuff
Marvel,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
And I'm really curious too. The next 3 issues that deal with the aftermath of Conan losing Belit.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I know a lot of people disliked the Queen of the Black Host from Dark Horse. Actually, I liked it, and that one also deals very interesting. With Conan being like for sure like a drunkard after he lost Belith. Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. It's always nice, nowadays when we have different comic books runs to compare how Conan deals with something that happens like in the source material.
Right.
It's funny. I was talking with Gary B off air before you joined about how, I'm cutting back and going away from Vampirella and Red Sonja for a bit after, these current runs. And I was rereading a lot of the early Red Sonja Dynamite stuff, and I'm like, man, this is the Red Sonja that I prefer over the last couple years of Red Sonja, outside of Mark Russell's run.
Yeah, it was very interesting to be like the first Dynamite. I still think that the best Red Sonja we got was the Red Sonja Blue.
Yes. I enjoyed that.
Because we also got Gita of Alisar in a Dynamite comic, which was nice.
You can't find that Red Sonja Blue here. Like, I look, it's tough. You can't find that. It's a tough one.
I'll check, Urban Legends to see, because I know he had gotten a bunch of Red Sonjas in.
Yeah, I'm still looking for the variant covers of that, and those are ghosts.
So's Queen Sonja. Queen Sonja is around.
I love Queen Sonja. Like, to me, like, outside of that main Red Sonja run, Queen Sonja was a good complementary story.
Yeah.
Especially
for a Lieberman story was quite nice. Queen Sonja is actually not that tough to get by. It's just tough to get some Perillo covers.
Yeah, the Perillo and some of the variants are.
Yeah, I've only got like 3 covers of it, but they're all Perillo.
Those must be the early ones, because the later ones is where they get expensive.
What bothers me the most is that Dynamite released the volume 1 of the Queen Sonja omnibus and they never released the second part.
Oh man,
that sucks.
Yeah, so I have like Queen Sonja #1 there as an omnibus, and because even if I have the single issues, it's way better to read them like in a paperback.
And I know I'm old school on it, but nothing will ever be better to me about Red Sonja than her first solo series, the Marvel feature, and her first self-titled series. Those two, and even the series after that with Mary Wilshire was really good.
It was fantastic. The thing with that is, of course, that even though Red Sonja Frogtown existed as a prior character, the Marvel run was highly original. So it was like her first depiction.
Right.
Because with Conan, I actually think that the Dark Horse run is the best one in terms of coherent storytelling.
See, that first Conan series by Marvel will always be top dog to me. I mean,
those are great, but I think the Dark Horse run feels closer to Robert E. Howard.
Is it mainly the Kurt Busiek run?
Yes, the Kurt Busiek run.
I can see that with him, but there's some of the runs where the art is in Dark Horse where they make Conan look too wayfish, and I just don't like it.
I get it. There's a
like the art takes me out of it.
Yeah, especially I think there were some early issues where it felt a little bit like runny, like with watercolors, etc., very artish. But I embraced it, and the storytelling Kurt Busiek was just fantastic on that run.
Man, I had that Colossal Conan. That shit was unwieldy.
That is not. I have the paperback omnibus. I have the Colossal King Conan, and I have like the Colossal Conan the Cimmerian, the Colossal editions. But sadly, not the.
See, I have all the single issues of Conan the Cimmerian.
I've been getting a lot of the single issues recently. Like when we was at Tampa Bay Comic Con, they had Dollar books, at a section they had a bunch of dollar books, and there was a whole long box full of Conan books. So me and Brian was just going through everything, and I'm going through my CLZ, like what I need, getting all the King, because I'm trying to complete the King Conan the King run, and I'm very close on completing that. And then they had a bunch of Dark Horses.
How many issues are you missing?
I'm only missing like 8 issues.
All right, send me a list, because there's I have that whole run, but there's some of them I have 2-3 of.
Okay.
And if I have extras of it, I'll just send them to you.
Because I've been racking up those, and then they had a whole bunch of Dark Horse, and a lot of it was Conan.
The Dark Horse are usually easy to get. I think there's only 2 expensive Dark Horse.
Yeah, the one with the nude.
The recalled nude one, and of course the Schwarzenegger King Conan, the San Julian cover.
That book still.
Yeah, I've never even that second one, the San Julian. I've never even seen it in person. That's how hard that one is to find.
I've seen it multiple times because John Novell has a copy. He always has that at his booth. But it's like
but I was very lucky that the boys got me.
Yeah,
and that one cover with the nudity, it's only expensive because of the breast. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's like a $300 book, slabbed.
I got it cheaper, luckily. I think that was the first slabbed book that I bought, because you can't find
slab
the
boobs. Slab the boobs.
They had to put those in plastic for Thorson's protection. He would have been the first guy in comic history to get a comic.
Woo!
Oh man, man, this is awesome, man. One thing I love about doing this show is me and VV will talk about the movie for about 40 minutes to an hour, and then we'll just do a half hour or more talking everything else.
Right. Gary, we got to have you back, because it's always
we still got to do Jason and the Argonauts.
Yes.
Titans.
You guys just have to let me know what Friday it is so I can plan to be here for it. That's all.
It's every Friday. Almost. Next week.
All right, so I'll make it. How about that be the Friday we kick off January?
Okay.
Kick off the first Friday of January, we talk that movie. So that way you can mark it down.
I still have vacation then. Perfect.
Vacation
at home.
But yeah, I mean, I'm down. Like, I love hanging out with you guys.
Yeah,
it's fun, man. And just seeing the show with you and Brian yesterday with everybody else, it's like that. Get more people involved, and we just have a blast. This internet connection that we have is what I cherish the most.
Definitely.
I cherish these conversations.
That's what makes it fun, right? And like I said, that show, I don't care anything about the value of anything on that show. I just want to see people who love what they have to read and why they love it.
And just having great stories. I how many times I went back and watched my own show with you. I was like, man, I did a great job telling these stories, because you listen to the 1011 and you hear the stories behind it. I was like, man, I got a couple of great stories I want to share.
And that's what it's about for me. The stories. That's what makes comics great, right? The stories that we end up associated with them. But hopefully you'll have more stories when we have you on a second time. 10
more books to dig out. Well, 12.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a blast. I'm glad that you was able to show up, and we talk Hell Comes to Frogtown. Underrated film. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out and form your own opinion on how you feel about it, because that's what we all do. We all have different opinions.
Right.
But sometimes, we disagree or agree, but, it's all love,
And it's all just appreciating. And what I like about what you guys review is it's not like modern films, right? You're reviewing cult classics that people have grown and developed a love for.
Yeah, and like me and Vivi always said, there's so many movies that we have never seen.
I watched one I never saw a couple weeks ago. Because I just found out there was a group of movies called pre-code horror movies. I knew about pre-code horror comics. I never knew there was pre-code horror movies, and it was like this little like year span, right? Of these movies from like the late 20s to like 36 or something, where there was like this, where there was like regulations. But I just watched one called Black Moon that had to do with voodoo. It's got some
Voodoo is always welcome.
language because it's from 1934, but it has Jack Holt's one of the characters, but Faye Ray's in it in a supporting role as a secretary, and she is absolutely stunning. She's got dark hair, and as a secretary, you see her when you think Faye Ray, you think King Kong. You watch her nest; she looks completely different, but still she looks absolutely stunning in it. But this was there's no blood in it, but it's a really dark movie. It has to deal with voodoo. This woman like taking off with her kid from her husband, saying she's going to be back. It ends up like she's going to sacrifice her kid because this is like part of her beliefs, and it's just a really dark film.
There's a lot of fantastic movies like from the 20s.
And you can watch it for free on Vintage Escape on YouTube.
But it's not even illegal because basically it's like, of course, it's the copyright ran out of most of them. Like they're like public domain.
Right.
So there's a lot of fantastic movies, especially when you compare like internationally, like Alraune, is a fantastic German early horror movie. Then of course you have the classics like Faust. It's just Faust, the classic Faust. There's some magic about black and white movies.
Yes.
I mean, I also really love like the early Flash Gordon, and of course
the Buster Crabs.
Yeah, the Buster Crab Flash Gordon. They're fantastic. And of course, as you know, like I'm a big fan of Dr. Fu Manchu, like the Sax Römer, like the early Dr. Fu Manchu were also fantastic. Also the later ones with Christopher Lee, I love those.
Yeah, we need more Christopher Lee on the channel. I definitely want to dive into some.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe we should like make a Dr. Fu Manchu special, because it's also like early pulp. And this Robert E. Howard also wrote like some, I wouldn't say like Fu Manchu pastiche.
No, Oriental Tales is what.
Like Oriental Tales, like Oriental Tales, Yellow Peril, like.
Well, it's amazing how prolific he was and how much work he put out.
Yeah, and a lot of characters are basically not known. I was very happy when Dark Horse released the Savage Sword of Robert E. Howard to showcase some of his lesser known creation.
Right. And he used to even write boxing tales too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share this real quick.
I have those 2 issues.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Sean, for these.
Yeah, when I saw them at Urban Legends Comics, I was like, man, I wonder if VV had them. So I took pictures, sent to you, and said you did not have them. So I did not
have them. I have the 4 Almuric issues.
I have 3 of the Almurics. I got to get the 4th one. Those are tough to find too.
I found those in the Netherlands in a store.
And these these 2 books I got AOK'd to me from Nick's Kicks and Comics.
Nice.
Because Nick is great, right? Nick will be at his LCS, and all of a sudden, like, I'll get an Instagram call. Gary B, did you see this? Do you have this? I'm like, wow, no. How much? He's like, it's already on its way to you.
Yeah, because I picked up myself and VV because he had 2 copies of each. So I was like, man, I'm grabbing it. But yeah, I'm glad you was able to finally go through them and enjoy it, because we were supposed to do like a show on these 2 books. We could still do it, but we was gonna do a show on this.
Yeah, we should do the show because there's a lot of Robert E. Howard comics. No one's talking about. There's also like I think I have 2 of those. One of the actually is one of these Yellow Peril books. Which branch was this?
And I hope we get a proper. Because as much as I'm a Marvel guy, they butchered Dark Agnes. I hope we get a proper Dark Agnes from Titan Comics. And I hope we see other characters like Brand McMorn, Solomon Kane and Lair the War, just some of these cool tales from Robert E. Howard that just, and even start publishing some of his horror tales. I have horror collections of Robert E. Howard in the other room, written in the old style, and they're just a great read.
Yeah.
I just know that them pulps are going to be hard to come by in certain areas, because that's the one thing. Like G-Man, when we went to shop, G-Man was asking them, do they got pre-code horror and pulps? And I'm like, G-Man, these shops ain't gonna have these pulps, man. They looking at you like, what the hell's a pulp?
Right.
And I was just telling G-Man, I understand you asking the question, but don't expect them to have it, because they're not
going to know what a pulp is. You know what's great is I'm old. I just lost my train of thought. But like some of these old horror stories, you read them, and like some of the Don Pierre and the stuff you sent me, but they're underserved. There's like an audience where these could really hit a sweet spot for some of these publishers that want to take a risk on them.
And especially since some of them really also dive into the Cthulhu mythos from H.P. Lovecraft.
And people don't understand that him and H.P. Lovecraft were friends.
Yeah, I have to say that his German was not the best, because like unaussprechlichen Kulten, it would actually be unaussprechliche Kulte. But yeah, I love these stories. I love the horror stories. I have like a nice collection. I have like a paperback of the Lovecraftian stories he did, but I have a really nice. I think you also have the one which is a nice collection of some of his horror stories.
Yeah, the Valentine Books one.
Yeah,
they did the best. I thought, publishing them. I really thought all their publications were top notch.
And also have to buy some German translations, because they also have like in I think Terra Fantastica or something. They reprinted a lot of his stories there.
Yeah, we definitely need them. But no, good stuff. Thank you guys so much for having me on this week.
Thank you for being here.
Pleasure, man. It's great. It's great chopping it up with you always, Gary.
Well, like I told you guys, they dragged that net on the bottom of the swamp and pulled me up for it, and I was happy to be here.
Hey, and he came out looking like Swamp Thing, but we cleaned him up, and he came out presentable on the screen.
Me looking like Swamp Thing is me cleaned up. I'm just that ugly.
To go back to Hell Comes a Frogtown, Gary B. I know this guy since he was 80.
Right?
Oh man! But
I'm ugly, but I'm young ugly. Like I'm 53 and look like 40.
Oh, G-Man's here. What's up,
man? Hey, talk about the devil.
Right?
Awesome, man. Oh yeah, just I gotta do a shameless plug. The Comic Call crew will be back tomorrow. Matt will be there. We're gonna talk about their trip down here in Florida. G-Man will be joining, and probably a couple of others. So we might have so many guys on there, we might squeeze out the rest of the crew just to have them on. But
sounds like an episode that is like you have to plan 6 hours to watch it.
Yeah, and we had a great time last week when we did the Owl show, showing his haul, and we all jumped on there. It was a great, fantastic time. But thanks to everybody who joined in on the live chat. It was a great show. This is probably the most people we've had in a while, because I was like, we've been kind of dry on the comment chat lately.
We may not always be so entertaining without Gary B, but we for sure be as offensive as we are today.
You guys don't need me to be entertaining, that's for sure.
But yeah, it was great time, and thanks to everybody that showed up. We'll be off next week,
because I'm going to Prague.
Nice.
Yeah, so no show next week. We still got to decide on if we're gonna do a show for Black Friday. I might do a Black Friday theme show. But
You know what would be fantastic for Black Friday?
What's that?
What is the movie? It's also by. It's the same from Deathstalker 2, Chopping Mall.
Oh, yes, perfect.
Black Friday shopping mall.
Shopping mall.
Woo!
Oh man, hey, you go to the mall on Friday expecting to get some gifts, man, you get attacked by a killer robot. Yes.
And
Yes,
they
thank
made
you
a
for
Black
bringing
Friday movie like 2 years ago with Bruce Campbell.
Really?
Yeah, it was a fun little horror movie.
I
I'll
should
have
have
to check
seen
that
it.
out. But yes, Shopping Mall, perfect. Thanks for bringing that one up, man. I love it. I'm gonna add that to the doc as soon as we get off here. I'm gonna throw that on. Black Friday special, Shopping Mall.
Wow.
Inspiration has struck.
I even have the soundtrack on CD here because it came like in a bundle, like it's Deathstalker 2 and the Shopping Mall soundtrack on one.
Oh man, now I'm ready to watch that movie. That movie is such a guilty pleasure. I love it, man.
Yo,
Jeff,
Jeff.
what's going on? Hey, everybody popping in late, man. But yeah, we're getting ready to end it. Gary B, thanks for joining. Awesome.
Oh,
And,
thanks for having me.
We looking forward to the beginning of 2024. Clash of the Titans, Jason and the Argonauts. That's when you'll see Gary B on the show again.
That's right. Well, yeah, I love those movies. We'll talk them.
Harryhausen, baby.
Exactly.
I hope everybody have a great weekend, and peace out.